What's up, everyone? So today we're going to go over a few things, some questions coming from Reddit, and my goal is to give you guys some really good stuff here. Just one kind of preface I'd like to say is that, don't use this on the dark side of cash advance. For example, the companies that I'm with, we do credit restoration, SBA loans, we do conventionals. We offer many different products so we can tell a better story and actually make good on that story for the merchant. Don't use these rebuttals where you're talking about moving them to this or moving them to this product if you aren't really going to be able to get it done. It's just not good business. One of my partner shops, 70% of the business is renewals. We don't like doing that. We like our renewals. We want to keep the merchant happy. Okay, so let's start it off. Aggravating top 1072. What are some good techniques to increase the rate interested people will apply and provide their bank statements? This kind of goes back to rapport, but one thing that I like to do, especially on an opening where you're trying to get that information, is do it while you're on the phone with them. So if I'm talking to a guy and I think I've opened them and I've qualified them a little bit and I'm going to get them funding, I'm going to start saying, okay, gotcha. And real quick, what is the home address? Okay, gotcha. Great. So, okay, I'm looking to get you this. And then what was the EIN serve the business? So I'm trying to collect the information while I'm on the phone, at least as much as I'm able to while I'm talking to them. And then with the bank statements, normally I say, okay, great. So what is the best email for you? They give the email. I type it in. I say, okay, do me a favor. Go to your inbox. Check your inbox. Now remember, I'm not just saying, do you have time to check your inbox? I'm doing an assumptive close where I'm saying, go to your inbox. Do me a favor. And I'm just assuming they're going to be able to do it. And a lot of times you'd be surprised. If the person's not combative, they'll be like, yeah, I see the email. Okay, great. Do me a favor and just respond with the last 3 months of your statements, month to date, whatever, 4 months. So I would say that. Don't just let them off the hook. If you say you're interested in this, they're just going to say yes and just yes you to death and just hang up and you never hear from them again. So I try to get as much as I can, collect the app as much as you can over the phone, and then get the email to them so you can just say, do you see your inbox? That's me. Go ahead and just attach your last 3 months or 4 months, and then I'll wait. And then you go from there. How do I decrease the chance of them ghosting me after the initial I'd entertain that call? Well, this is going to tie into another question, but I want you guys to remember this, is I want you guys to smoke out the true objections on the call. So what that looks like is, if you're pitching the merchant and you give them the terms and then you say, okay, you ready to move forward? Yes, they just might be yesing you to death. Again, it's the same thing. So you want to smoke out the objections. Okay, so if they're just telling me, yes, I've got 50K, it's 120 days, 1499, blah, blah, blah. And they just like, okay, great. And I say, okay, I'm going to send you the contract. You ready to move forward? Okay, great. Yes. No. I'm going to say to them, sir, just real quick, normally people have some kind of negatives here because I'm about to speak to my underwriting. What are some of the, the negatives of this? I mean, is everything you're telling me is perfect for you? Well, I don't really like the payback. I don't really like the, the amount of days, the term. Okay, now we can work into the rebuttals and try to reclose them. But that's going to save you a lot of deals, is not just letting them off the phone, because some people are just, they don't want to tell you no over the phone. They'd rather just ghost you and just click on you. Smoke out the true objections. Get to the final sticking point. If they say it's the payback is 75, that's their concern. I'm going to say, okay, let me ask you a question. If I really go to bat for you in my underwriter's office and I come back with contracts that say the payback is 71,500, are you ready to move forward? The guy says absolutely, or girl says absolutely. So you're smoking it out versus just letting them off the phone. That's going to be big. Okay, what's next? What's your channel? Cash Advance Trading, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're starting this out, but I want to give you guys gold where you can watch a video, and then use it on your next call. Okay. How to overcome high rate objections by Indaflow. Oh, the last one was Iman_pin. Okay, Indaflow asks how to overcome high rate objections. So this one's going to depend on, the parameters of the file, why they're getting the higher rates. So there's a few things I like to do. If there are negatives, I mentioned the negatives, that's why. But you also want to sell the story. And the story, like I said in the beginning, you want to be true about it. So basically, sir, I know what you're looking for. You want a monthly payment. You want a 10-year term, prime plus 2.5 points, and I get that. But right now, the credit score is at 500. Now, my shop, once you're a client, once we bring you in on the books, we do credit restoration. We do, authorized user trade lines. We do credit disputes. We do sweeps. We do all these different things that get you ready because we have 7 different funding programs. But right now, to solve the need you have for the capital, I'd like to at least get you this bridge, work on your credit, and then go for the better products and have it wrapped up in that. it's all about the story you tell. You have to separate yourself from all the other people that are calling. Now, again, I'm really just hammering this in. Don't tell them this if you're not going to be able to get it for them, because you're never going to see that merchant again. You're going to lose it as a renewal. We want our renewals in this business. When your business is slow, the renewals is what's going to keep you fed, okay? So those are some comebacks for high rate objections. You let them know, obviously, once we build a positive payment history with you and we build that relationship and we see that you pay on time, there's no issue. I have no problem going to my underwriters and, 3-4 weeks, 50% paid in, getting you a better amount. But obviously, there's parameters that qualify you as a high risk file. Then something else I'll throw in is like, look, we're talking about high risk, short-term working capital here. You're getting the money within 24 hours. Good luck going to Wells Fargo and trying to get money out of them. That's going to take you 30 to 60 days, right? So there's a positive and there's a negative. There's a pro and a con. You're getting high risk money. You might be paying higher back on it. It's daily, it's weekly, whatever have you, but you're getting it right now. You're cutting through 1,000 years of underwriting. There's no compliance. There's no legal. There's sign the contract, final underwriting, bank login. You're funded, okay? So sell that to them. Okay, Iman Pin, how to convince merch to take daily over weekly would be a good one for some. So when it comes to that, if they're fighting you to take daily over weekly, okay, so if they want weekly, I'm assuming, but they're only getting daily. So there's a few things why that could be happening. We could be talking about trucking. If you're with Everest is only going to give dailies on trucking. We could be talking about you're coming back after a default, or the revenue isn't high, or it's just a high risk lender in general. So something I would say to them is, look, I price out the amount of the weekly and price out the amount of the daily. Listen, sir, either way, or ma'am, you're paying $26.50 a week to this, and the funder really just wants to see that payment history every single day, because you'd be surprised, a lot of people just they default a lot, they don't pay it. And once you have good history, this is what I want you to stress, that I have no problem going back to my underwriting, going back to my funder, and getting you something better. Now that's either maybe an add-on with weekly, or that's something like a refinance, or we make it weekly. But we can definitely get you the terms you want, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. Again, my underwriting has looked at your statements, and they've looked at your daily balances, they looked at your deposits, they've spent a lot of money underwriting this, and they have come to the fact that you are going to be able to afford this. It might not be amazing, you might not love it, but based on your statements and your activity, this is not going to over leverage you. We would never try to over leverage you. It's bad for you, it's bad for us. We want you to have successful completion of payments on these things and fund you as many times as we can while giving you the lowest rates possible, the wholesale rates, the direct lender rates, etc. It wouldn't be in our best interest to give you something that's going to kill you and then default on us and we lose our money, then we're coming after you. We don't want to deal with that. Okay. Iman Pin, how about I'm not ready to take a deal after they sent you, after you pitched them after the offer. Again, this comes right back to smoking out the objections. Really keep this in your mind, because, it's just human nature. People don't want to be honest. You could tell someone a position or the offer that you have, and they'll just say, okay. And then you say, okay, great. I'm going to send you the paperwork, the documents, the contract, and you're ready to go. Yeah, okay, click, never talk to you again, and then they sleep fine at night about it. So I don't let that happen. I smoke out the true objections. If I'm telling them if I pitch the approval, and I would do it normally in a soft pitch, but that's for another video. But once they know the terms, rather, and I'm about to send them the paperwork, I just try to inspect a little bit and try to find what the true objection is. So I would say, after I pitch them and I'm ready to get off the call, okay, great. So you're good with this payment? Yes. You're good with this? Okay. And the total payback's not a problem? No. Okay. So we're going to do 5 months. Any issue with that at all? Now, I'm not going to do that on every call. I'm not going to take back the close if I've already closed them. But if I have a sense, you can sort of tell the energy. If somebody is just yes me to death, and just go over everything. Is there any issue at all here to make you sign? Okay, another thing you can ask is you can go over the terms and say, okay, so just to clarify, sir or ma'am, if I send you this contract at $120K at this rate with a payback of this, if I send it to you right now, are you ready to close on this and let's get you funded? Well, it's actually this. And what you're going to find is that there's going to be more than that. So you're going to be smoking out objections left and right. You're going to get to the first one, and it's going to be the total payback, for example. And then you're going to just do some calculations, sell a little bit and get back to them and say, okay, what if I get it to this? And they're going to say yes. And you're going to say, okay, again, so if I get you this term at this rate, at this payback, which is now you went back and changed it to make it better, and this payback, are you ready to sign right now? Well, to be honest, the daily, I don't like the, so you're working to get the objections, and it's good because I'd rather you get the objections, lose the deal than just freaking absolutely not be aggressive. I'd rather see you be aggressive and lose the deal than not be aggressive and lose the deal. That makes sense. So smoke out the objections. Okay, moist entertainer. A common issue I face is when a lead is on the fence about MCAs because of the repayment structure. They seem scared by daily deductions. How can I approach that concern and show them the benefit without sounding too pushy? I'd love to hear your take in the video. Okay, so the best way I would handle that is I would just really kind of sell your relationship, okay, and sell the difference between you and everybody else. First, you have to get them to understand the difference between, bank money, SBAs, conventionals, and short-term working capital. This is private equity, hedge fund, investor money, and you're getting it like that. You're getting it within 24 hours. It's super high risk. So there's going to be different things about it that you might not like the daily. But then I go into things like, look, sir, your credit, or ma'am, your credit score is this or this. We have different funding programs, and we can get you into the better ones once we bring you on the books. And I actually do that. Like, we have clients where we get them the cash advance, and if their credit is good, we move right to conventionals, right to SBA. We start collecting taxes. We start getting debt schedules. We start getting P&L balance sheets, all that jazz to actually do that. And if you do that for your clients, they will love you, and they will go nowhere else but to you. So keep that in mind. But you have to give them the negatives. I'd love to get you this over a weekly, but the credit score is 500. I'd love to get you this, but this is that. But that's not to say that we're different here. At my place, once we have good payment history and we have a relationship, I have no problem moving that over to a weekly. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's going to be a monthly in a month, because we just don't do that. Those aren't the parameters that we fund, and not a lot of places do. You have to be perfect to get those true A paper, headway line of credit, those monthly payments. But this is going to just get your feet wet, get your foot in the door, and show every funder that, hey, this person pays their bills and they have good payment history. And then, the floodgates are open, and really we can make deals. Even if you don't like the daily, I'll make the rate so good, the daily won't even be an issue. It'll be so low. Things like that. Okay. And then the last one, Head Branch 9247. How do you sell your reverses would be a good one. This one, in the beginning for me, it kind of tripped me up, but now it's really not that hard. But you want to, when you get the reverses, most of the merchants, they want a complete buyout. And you hear this all the time. They want somebody to come in and buy all three positions, and then they just pay the one person. So what I like, to explain, and how I was explained, is something along the lines of, the funders used to do that. They used to do these buyouts, but they would just see that they're getting defaults. They're taking on 1,000,000 times more risk, because they're not just coming in now as a fourth position. They're buying out everything and coming in as a first. So they're taking more of a risk on you. They're going to do the same exact thing, the same thing as a buyout, but what they're going to do is they're going to structure it over 13, 14, 18 weeks, okay? So it's the same thing, and you can cancel anytime. How it works is you're going to be saving, let's say, between 30 to 40 to 50% of what your payments are now. So let's just crunch some numbers here. Okay, so you ask them, how much are you paying a week in MCAs? And they add it up. Okay, they say it's, $6,000. Okay, great. So you take 6,000, and let's just say most case best scenario, they're saving 40%. Times 40%. So that's $2,400. So 6,000 minus 2,400. Now you're going to be paying $3,600 a week to the reverse company. And in exchange for that, they are depositing $6,000 into your account every single week. And that's going to cover off the payments. That's the buyout, but it happens week to week. And what you want to remember is you want to add up the total that they're saving weekly, monthly. So you want to take 2,400 and say, listen, that's almost $10,000 a month you're saving. I mean, think about that. That's like a 10K funding every single month. If you look at that annualized, that's like 120 grand a year. So the main thing is you want to get across how much you're saving. It's going to accomplish the same thing. You want to tell them that you can cancel at any time. Listen, you're not tied into this. This is like a 13, 14-week thing, whatever it is. But listen, after week 2, let's say you don't want to do this anymore, fine. The reverse gets canceled and it gets wrapped into a position, and now you're just paying on it like you would any other type of cash advance. And normally they're at better rates. And you can also, a lot of the reverse people, they want to move to SBAs and conventional to clean house and get everything done. So you can say, we can start on this, depending on your credit, depending on other factors. If your taxes look good, get you the reverse, and then work towards the SBA or conventional. And if that goes well, then we can cancel the reverse, and then that turns into position, and then we just wrap it up into the SBA or conventional. That's the way I like to do it. yeah, this was fun. If you like the videos, I hope you can like and subscribe them. For more resources, go to cashadvancetraining.com, where we'll like personalize openings and give you even more hard closes. Some of them aren't 100% kosher, but if you're a good person and you do the right thing by the merchants, I'm okay giving them to you. And any other questions you have, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to try to answer them on the next one. But yeah, thanks so much, guys and girls.